right, first order of business, Iran war. We got attacks on U.S. warships and Strait test Trump's desire to end the war. So yesterday, essentially, Iran had fired on not only U.S. naval vessels, but also tankers. And now Trump yesterday said, we haven't violated the ceasefire. I'm sure a blockade is a act of war. Everything that they're doing, like, well, let's restart the clock, stupid. We got, very pussy-ass Republicans not willing to, stand up and do something about this. All they got to do is join the Democrats and at least say, hey, it's not going so well. We're going to need you to start pulling out troops. You guys are going to have to negotiate. Sorry, Trump, you lost, but we don't need $10 gas. I have predicted $10 gas. That will certainly happen, especially as they start taking out the infrastructure around the Strait of Hormuz. If we don't have the infrastructure either shipping it or even producing it, what the fuck? Doesn't matter if the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Right now, Trump is calling it a mini war, a little detour, and it's working very nicely. Is it? Is it? Also, Iran is warning officials. Mohammed Bagar Ghalibaf, Iran's top negotiator, accused the United States of violating the shaky ceasefire after Iranian forces fired at vessels the U.S. Navy was guiding through the strait. So a top Iranian official warned on Tuesday of an escalation in the Strait of Hormuz. Here's the latest. A top Iranian official warned on Tuesday of an escalation in the Strait of Hormuz and caused the United States of violating a fragile ceasefire, a day after the U.S. Navy began an initiative to escort commercial ships through the strait, a vital shipping waterway. The truce obviously sees some signs of fraying. This was all predicted, by the way. I mean, Trump should have listened to J.D. Vance somehow, that they were definitely going to close the strait. It was arrogance. It was hubris. That's why we're here. And the reason we're not going to get out is Trump's ego. There is no way out that doesn't give him that actually gives him a better deal than Obama. So what is the point at this point to just continue? So we can start a World War III, and you know who benefits from that? Iran, China, and Russia. The Economist reported yesterday that China is basically laughing at Trump. They wrote a almost sarcastic economic, letter to distribute throughout the government that thank you, Trump, for alienating all of our allies and now making China seem like they are a better trading partner. Thank you, Trump, for having tariffs. Thank you for destroying your manufacturing base. And that was always going to get destroyed because we weren't paying people enough because we're anti-union. So what's the difference? And of course, these types of things are my favorite. Trump tries to downplay the economic effects of the Iran war. So facing pressure to address the economic fallout in Iran, President Trump on Monday sought to portray his policy wins for small businesses as evidence that he was succeeding in building up the economy. So let's get one thing straight. He has said trillions of dollars have entered. They haven't entered shit. Half of these deals that they set up with, the Saudi Arabia and the other, Gulf states, they didn't actually give us any money yet. Do you think after starting this fucked up war and doing all this shit and Iran blows up all their infrastructure and they have no money, do you think that money's actually going to come in? They know how to play Trump. Trump is a chump. So they know that all they got to do is tell him, oh yeah, we're going to give you all kinds of money, man. You are so hot. And it's all going to be gold. And he actually believes this shit. I just want to make sure Americans know not to believe this shit. So Mr. Trump's comments on Monday created a sharp contrast with the economic reality outside of Washington as energy prices hammer family and businesses alike. Right now, by Monday, we were up to 114 per barrel. I have gamed this out, using Claude, ChatGPT, economic forecasts. I have said $10 gas is where we're heading. I stand by that. That was over as soon as it started. We're going to see $10 gas. So Mr. Trump, who often focuses on economic indicators like the stock market, which is not a good indicator because we're in for a massive correction. There is no way we're not in for a massive correction. We don't have helium for our chips because of the Iran war. They're building data centers that like crazy that rural America's fighting back because all they see is a data center, no jobs, and then Trump's like, you guys are hot. Everything is hot, man. Don't worry about that shit. And the average cost of a gallon of gas top 4.45 nationwide, according to AAA. I talked to my mom the other day. She said it went up $1.10 in Ohio within a week, 1 week. Also, at Monday's event, Mr. Trump offered a new defense of his most consequential policies, slashing the federal workforce, which resulted in a loss of hundreds of thousands of jobs. That was the first, thing when he got in there. America first. Let's get rid of these American jobs. And here he says, and I feel sorry for everyone, and it's a hard thing to do, he said. Many of these people voted for me, but now they like me because they went out, got private sector jobs, and they like better and is paying them sometimes 2 to 3 times the money. Well, of course, some people that's true, but we know that's not the reality. He has faced accusations from some in his America First, markedly Marjorie Taylor Greene, among others. I just don't know when these people are going to man up. They are going to get absolutely destroyed in the midterms, the Republicans. And there's no plan. Just going to let it just keep going. I guess the plan is just cheat. I mean, we started the Texas redistricting. Virginia did it. California did it. I live in Florida, so now they're going to do it. That shit is bullshit. It's undemocratic from both sides. Republicans started it, though. Whatever. And then, of course, in his rambling speech, as he's known to do, he railed against Biden. He boasted that about passing cognitive tests. I want to see this cognitive test. I want to be in the room. I want to take it against him, and then let's see if he wins. If I don't beat him by 30 points, I'll wear a dress for a week. Oh, and then he came to my neck of the woods, the Villages in Florida, where he's talking about his tax and domestic and help older Americans relying on Social Security. I know older Americans relying on Social Security because I sold final expense insurance. And you're talking to the people, the poorest of people, that are getting like $1,300, $2,000 a month to live on. And their rent eats $1,000 of it. So imagine how hard it is to sell somebody on a $50 bill when you only get $1,200. It's like, I'm going to need like 4 or 5% of your, your income just for this one thing so you can pay for final expenses. It was sad, and that's who he's talking about. That's the people that have voted for him. I used to hear it all the time. Oh, he's doing great, man, but it doesn't sound like he can afford the insurance. Oh, yeah, but, the immigrants. It's like, let's focus on our real problems in America. Get over the polarization, and just, we all want the same shit. So let's get back to that. American dream, jobs for young people. Maybe focus on AI, because the way they're talking, it's going to take tens of millions of jobs by 2030. What is the plan? Is there a universal income? Is it something different? I don't know, but that's the one thing that they need to talk about. But this Republican Party isn't, capable of solving problems, only creating them. He's got a button on his desk. There's no button to fix the economy, but he's definitely slamming that one to destroy it. And the final story we will cover today, after watching Kennedy just fail in front of Congress, he is now going to push policies to stop antidepressants. He announced several initiatives intended to rein in prescription of selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, blah, blah, blah. The initiative focused on most widely prescribed psychiatric medications like Zoloft. It doesn't even matter to read this. Everything he does is so stupid. He goes up there and says, no, don't get the measles vaccine. People die. We're off of the measles. There's a list for international list for countries that are safe, and we're off that list. So measles, you might get measles if you come here and visit. So these drugs have been surging in popularity. Young people's depression is an all-time high. We're not focusing on the things that we need to focus on, so might as well take them away. If you're depressed, let's get you really depressed. Maybe he just wants people to off themselves, so that way he can, only have the brightest and the top of the top, the cream of the top. People that wear jeans when they're swimming, cut raccoon penises off of animals. Make sure, honey, you gotta pull over. I gotta take care of this real quick. I gotta do that. That's where we're at in America. So I'm signing off. This is Lies of the Orange Era. I'm just trying to break this down into ways that, so we're all not getting hoodwinked and we know what's going on. Peace.